Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to Geeks in Space. It's like a cigarette break, a coffee break with a bunch of really great nerds. I am Rob, Commander Taco Malda. This is episode 354. And today, it's just the best three. We got rid of the dead weight.
I am so sorry that I accidentally let them out of the airlock. That was not what I was intending. I was just trying to clean up the kitchen. I didn't know that they were having a secret necking session in there, and I just hope we can, get their clones all loaded up for the next episode on Tuesday.
Well, it is unfortunate, but at least this way we each get a medal.
Like not like Chewbacca?
Right.
All right, folks. It is a light news week. We probably shouldn't be too surprised about that. It is the middle of, I guess early summer.
Yep. Everyone's got their kids on vacation, and aside from E3 announcements, my news feed has not been that very, very populated.
Yeah, it's been so bad that I saw a show about the top 10 commencement speeches by celebrities already this year. So that's where we are.
Yeah, that's not a good time of year.
Who makes the top 10 celebrity commencement speeches? Like
Pierce Brosnan, Jennifer Gardner, and to be honest, I can't remember who else.
Yeah,
I've long since said that my entire career goal is one day to earn an honorary doctorate. And I think I'm past my chance for that, because I always figured that my best chance was commencement speech somewhere, like some third tier school standards, but a tech. But past my prime, man. All right, so one thing I did want to discuss, the new season and the last season of Jessica Jones drops, I believe, tomorrow. That is, it's the end of Netflix Marvel.
Yeah, so I haven't been with all the Netflix Marvel drama. Like, what is this? Like, they've dropped most of the other shows in that universe, right?
It's all done. It's all done.
Oh, it is.
This is the end of it.
Is this because of Disney Prime?
Well, that's the conspiracy theory. I mean, nobody's come out and actually said point blank, this is because of Disney. There's been a bunch of other rumors. One of the rumors, the more popular rumors, is that these shows were relatively expensive for Netflix, and they can get hours of entertainment elsewhere for less money. Also, the ratings on several of the shows has been pretty poor. I think Defenders didn't perform particularly well rating-wise.
Iron Fist.
Yeah, well, Iron Fist was garbage, so especially that first season of Iron Fist. But I just linked this on Taco Zone earlier this morning. The real heartbreak on this one, I thought, was did you see the thing about Daredevil being ineligible for? There's apparently an action sequence Emmy, and every season of Daredevil has like one really long fight scene. And the fight scene in the last season of Daredevil is like a 13-minute long single take. And it's some of the most impressive. It's the standard hallway fight. It is absolutely amazing. It is ineligible for Emmy consideration because they will only take 3-minute long clips, and it is a 13-minute long clip.
That's what you get for being an overachiever, I guess.
Right? Nobody likes that kid.
Yeah, I thought many of the Marvel shows on Netflix are great. Being at the top.
Daredevil.
That last season lost a little something for me. I don't know if it's because the writers knew it was all coming to an end, or what the deal was, but yeah, I don't know.
See, I thought the last season of Daredevil was fantastic. I thought that was maybe the
Daredevil. I liked all of Daredevil.
Except Kingpin should be bigger and more imposing.
I agree with that. But
you don't think he should be Edgar from Men in Black?
I always think of him as Private Pile from Full Metal Jacket. Maybe that's why he didn't really fit the role perfectly for me. But I thought he did well. I thought he was perfectly fine.
I liked both of them tremendously. But I mean, I don't know. The Iron Fist was bad. Defenders was boring. The second season of Iron Fist was okay. There's good parts in both seasons of Luke Cage. I liked the first season of Jessica Jones a lot.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
The second season was okay. I'm hoping that that they'll go out. I hope that they manage to give closure to this whole thing. I don't think that any of these characters or shows are going to be picked up in their current state by Disney, but I mean, it's always possible. It seems like the Disney jam right now, as far as Disney TV shows, is they're spinning off like a bunch of characters from the actual MCU, because we're going to get a Vision Scarlet Witch show and a Loki show.
Yeah, I think you got to ask yourself if DC's Doom Patrol, is actually a pretty good indicator of where this is going. What is Marvel's natural response to Doom Patrol?
Ooh, what? Well, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was like that was Marvel's weird gang.
Well, I think they figured out through Guardians and Deadpool that there's a niche of sort of comedy superhero, and that's sort of what they're going to try to do. I think Doom Patrol in large part is DC's answer to that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, have you finished? Have you read all up through episode or trade paperback 6 of Gwenpool?
Yes, I'm fully caught up on Gwenpool. I have not read all of the West Coast yet.
I just finally finished Gwenpool. I caught up with it, and that was it was a legit good story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they managed to do something beyond just their quirky, weird girl Deadpool meta humor thing, and I was really pleased with it. It's not very often that I put a comic book down and I immediately want to go tell Kathleen, what happened in that comic book, but there was clever stuff in there. It was really cool. I mean, I'm if I'm gonna read Mr. Miracle, I'm not gonna go and tell her about the super sad story about the superhero with PTSD and wants to kill himself.
Yeah. I didn't share Mr. Miracle with anyone in my family either. Yeah.
So Nate, you linked up the Smach Z handheld, an actual AMD Ryzen handheld.
Yeah. So this thing went on Kickstarter in 2016, and its Kickstarter, there's probably a 60 to 70% chance that thing never actually gets made. But they had a demo unit available at E3, and this was the first hands-on review that I've seen of. So there's the WinGP 32, which is the only real handheld form factor PC gaming platform right now, and doesn't have hardly any market share. The Smach Z is the one that is sort of tipped as the best sort of contender to actually bring it to mass market. I would say the review was a little tepid, but it looks like it's at least real and will at least come to market in 2019.
So this is Steam games, basically.
Yes, this is a PC that is built into a joystick, more or less, that has a 1080p screen, and you can play your regular PC games, and it's oriented towards playing them in Steam big picture mode. So, controller-based gaming on PC, in a handheld form factor.
The form factor looked a little smaller than the Switch, like something between the PSP and the Switch, maybe.
Yeah, I think it looks like they're using mobile screens as opposed to tablet screens for their video.
I mean, it looks sweet. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it will play all of my retro games, so it would function for all of my needs. Although, isn't there you said Breath of the Wild is getting a sequel?
Yep. Nintendo announced Breath of the Wild 2. They really haven't much more than that. That was probably the most interesting announcement. There was a lot of other just kind of rote Nintendo stuff. But New Zelda, I mean, that was the game that I would say that Mario Odyssey really launched that platform. So the fact, and it was a Wii U port. So the fact that it's getting a new native one, and supposedly it will have a lot of the improvements that they brought in to the later Zelda thing. So like improving the load time, so it's not like a minute, to load saves and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'll definitely play the shit out of some Zelda.
I'm afraid that if there is a new Zelda game, I'm going to have to buy a second Switch. Because my children have I had to finally give up my Switch because I got so sick of fighting with them over Mario Odyssey. I think it was, as much as I liked throwing or having them throw my hat while I tried to play a video game. Eventually, that became old.
They are due for a hardware rev, from the original Switch, which came out in 2017. So we're about doing the Nintendo cycle for the. And the one that's rumored, like there's been no official leaks, but the one that's rumored is supposed to be fixed screen, like no more Joy-Cons, but still TV attachable and cheaper, like closer to $200 price point.
I actually do not allow my children to use the Switch in handheld mode, but that's mainly because I know that if I do that, one of those pieces is getting lost. Also, my children are disgusting, filthy creatures. And everything that they touch is covered in like a 0.5 millimeter film of whatever it is that they've touched or eaten in the last 100 years. I don't know how it is, but like my kids were complaining yesterday in my car that it's dirty. And I'm like, you are literally the only people who ever sit in the back seat of my car. All of that is your filth. And they're like Pigpen. They get with them everywhere they go. It's truly vile. So that's why the Switch is no longer mine. I don't want to touch those buttons.
Well, there you go. Then you can get one of the cheaper ones for your own personal use, and
right. I actually just play it on the roof or something.
In the office or in my kit, I have one Wii controller, like the Wii or the Switch Pro controller. It sits on a shelf. They're not allowed to touch it. It's got a full battery charge, and if Daddy wants to play a game, he doesn't want to be skeeved out by your disgusting fingers. They had, I read a really interesting essay. I shared it on, it was on Captcha. And the premise of the article was basically that you shouldn't be using Google's Captcha. And it was for privacy reasons or, Big Brother reasons, those sorts of reasons. But the thing that really struck me about that, and I was just thinking, Nate, to the olden days, like the things that we had to program, like by hand, and Captcha's for me is like one of those perfect encapsulations of that problem. You're getting spam. Captcha is on a few random platforms, and we had to actually program our own Captcha system from scratch because really one off the shelf. And that's that era of programming was like you want to build a car, you also learn how to make
I remember fighting really hard with SourceForge against Captcha for bug posting, or reCAPTCHA for bug posting, because we were getting bug posting spam, and it was, I hated at the time, it wasn't the check a box, it was the like read fucked up letters, and I hated that, and I didn't think it ever worked really well, and I didn't think it was really defensible. So we wound up using hidden form field that would multiply numbers in JavaScript. And so basically it was a test of, if you are running a browser with JavaScript, you're probably not a bot in 2004.
I did something super similar to that, which was at the time, every browser in widespread use returned all form elements in the order that they were presented to the browser. And so if you just merely did something that forced a browser, forced a form element to appear in the post out of order, you could determine that was something that actually properly executed all of your JavaScript. That was one of my dumber hacks, and that stuff worked. I mean, and that's the thing, is that our Captcha system worked fine. It got rid of all of the spam. The spam basically dried up almost immediately. It did not stop the trolls, but I guess trolls are willing to read weird letters or type or click on the thing where they know where are these signposts or not.
Well, and can you ever stop the trolls?
Yeah, no. I think our current information ecosystem proves that, like, this is a humanity level problem.
Right.
You give everybody a microphone, and it turns out that 99% of the people don't know that they probably should shut up. What is it? 1% of people, or 10% of people create everything of value. 1% of people create all of the garbage. And the problem is they can't tell the difference between themselves. I do not care for these things. What else do we got on the news list? I Am Mother. Have you seen this yet, Nate?
I have not.
Rob and I were just talking about this. Have you seen Moon?
Mm-mm.
Man, you are in for a treat.
I'm behind. I Am Mother and Moon. All right.
Well, Moon is old. Moon is like 10 years old. It's Sam Rockwell. And I was just saying to Rob that brand new on Netflix now. It's Moon, but it's like feminine Moon. But Moon is fantastic. Like, I can't recommend it high enough. It's got like great production design, great production value, a cool old school feeling sci-fi plot. And this is very much in the same vein.
Cool.
Yep, Moon's terrific.
Nate or Rob, you shared somebody managed to find a big old chunk of metal on the lunar South Pole.
That's true. For those of you who enjoy or have sat through the movie Iron Sky about Nazi bases on the moon, found a piece of metal approximately the size of Hawaii, and they think it's from an asteroid impact, but would they really tell us if it was a Nazi base on the moon?
Yeah,
probably not.
Was Iron Sky a Kickstarter?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a weird movie. The Sarah Palin inspired president was like one of the weirdest and just most like inspired things that I've seen in a movie like that. Like, just off the charts.
Oh, those quaint days when we thought Sarah Palin being president was a little kooky.
Adorable. She was so wacky. She could see Alaska from her house. We didn't have to worry about, oh God, what did Trump do this week? I was I don't even want to talk about Trump. It just makes me depressed. Did you see the Gary Gygax memorial?
I did not.
What's the deal with it?
I mean, it ain't much. He's like from Milwaukee or something. I was thinking we could get a road trip together, though. There's like a plaque on the ground with like a D20 like carved into the ground. It's a Gary Gygax memorial. Now, I've heard that he was actually kind of an obnoxious DM, and that kind of seems like if you wrote those books with all of those tables of weights and stuff, like he's going to make you do an encumbrance check before you do everything, and you want to cast a spell, and he's going to make sure you check your character sheet for if you have collected the reagents.
Yeah,
I think you spend a lot of time gathering, I don't know, cat fur and 2 daylilies.
Don't forget the amethyst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you need amethyst and essential oils.
I always felt like if you're going to play the game that way, that you're essentially then requiring yourself or your DM to provide side quests to you, like one-on-one, because I don't want to say, I mean, Nate, I love you, man, but I don't want to sit around for a half hour while Rob is DMing you to go find, 3 poppy seeds from the top of a mountain so that you can cast a charm person or something.
I think part of it is that the whole thing was that you kept everyone very poor And so like getting a +1 weapon was a really big deal. And if you got the mats to cast a spell, you could cast it once. And that was like the thing that happened that game is, oh, it's so awesome. I was able to cast this spell.
What was the old E2 node? What level can I cast Fireball?
I don't remember that one, but I totally believe that was an E2 node.
That was one of my favorites. It was just like all these different gaming platforms, gaming systems done. But it was everything. It was video games. It was D&D campaigns, and it was what level can I cast fire? I was like, well, if you want to cast a fireball in 4th Ed Dungeons and Dragons, then you need to be level 6 or whatever. Like every single system. It was really. I wonder if it's still there.
It is true that the fireball transcended all media and games, right?
It's like
Everything
the Rosetta Stone of spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, area of effect, friendly fire damage spell. Perfect.
Every platform, all the time. Well, folks, it is obviously a slow news week, and we're short a man, so I think we should probably call it. You guys want to say your fond farewells, and I'll put up the goodbye slide?
Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm going to go outside and cast Fireball, and I'll see you later.
I hope you got your reagents ready for that. I'm going to be checking your character sheet. Thanks for listening to Geeks in Space. This has been episode 354. Thanks to Nate and Rob, the best of the geeks. We'll see you guys next week. I'm pressing the button.